So today we are going to be talking about complementary colors and mugs. So complementary colors, as a quick review, are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So for example, in this I chose red violet, which is this magenta color as its nickname, and I chose yellow green, which is this lime green color, which is one of its nicknames. So I am going to start, as always, by going into my Google Classroom, hitting the Add or Create button, and choosing Drawings. And once that opens, I'm going to do my two-finger click, keeping my fingers kind of spread apart in order to click down, and hit Background. And this is where I need to decide what my complementary colors are going to be. So red would go with green, orange with blue, and yellow with purple. Those are the more simple sets, not including tertiary colors. Or if I'm choosing tertiary colors, it could be something like a yellow-orange with a blue-violet or things like that. I think I'm going to go pretty classic and go with yellow and purple as my complementary colors. So I'm going to make my background bright yellow. Now, I don't love having a plain background. As you saw in my original, I kind of did like a cool wallpaper design, and I think I'm going to do something similar. So I'm going to Shapes and choosing a shape to stretch out, and I'm going back to color, and I can do different tones or values of this color. Now, that did get a little more orange than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to come back to the yellow, choose Custom, and then just choose something a little bit lighter so that I have in the same tonal range. I'm going to duplicate that a couple times, and voila, I have a custom background. Now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that again by pressing Control D and make some sort of table or tablecloth for my mug to sit on. And again, I'm going to go to custom, and I think I want this one to be a little bit on the darker scale. So keeping it in the same range, but a little darker. Now it's time for me to make my mug. So I'm going to come up here to Shapes and choose something that looks mug-like. To me, this shape looks very much like a mug on its side. So using this toggle that sticks straight up off the top, I'm going to click, hold down, and turn it to its side. Now I have a mug. And for my mug, I also need a handle. So there's a couple different ways that I can do this. One of the ways that I can do this is to go to Shapes and choose, either the half moon or this shape here and kind of turn that on its side. Now, the cool thing about this shape is that it has these little orange dots at them. If you take those little orange dots and move it, it will create more of a shape that you are looking for. And so that might be a little tall for me based on what I'm looking for. And I can again widen that out a little if I need to. And I don't love that it's sitting in front of my mug right now, so I'm going to go to Arrange, Order, and then just send backward, since that is the last thing that I sent behind. I think I want to make that a little smaller. There we go. That looks like a good mug handle, I think. Because I am using yellow in my background, the complementary color of yellow is going to be violet. So I'm going to make my mug violet. And now it's time to add details. There are tons of fun shapes, not only in this shape bar, but there's the arrow bar, the callouts bar, which has like all the stars and things like that, and the equations. So I think I want my mug to have some stars on it. Now again, because this is complementary colors, I'm going to choose different values of purple. And I'm just using the Apple D duplicate button to create different designs and or patterns on my mug. So kind of, you can see those little red lines up here. That tells me when things are lined up, which is super helpful to have as we do this project. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is if I want to add a saucer, I can. And in order to do that, I would just use a circle and drag it to the length of an oval. Now for this one, I don't know that I necessarily want to have a saucer, but I can. But I do want some steam, I think. So I'm going to come up to this line tool and choose the little arrow next to it. Come all the way down to scribble, and then I can click and hold down and drag while I'm clicking to make a little bit of steam coming up out of my mug. So it just looks like there's something warm in there. Now my pointer is still at the plus sign, so I need to click back on my little mouse in order to get him to change. And if I want to change the thickness of that line, I can come over here to these 3 lines that are in a row that says line weight. I can change that. If I want to change the color, I'm going to go to the pencil that is underlined with a color and choose that. And if I want to do these all at the same time, all I need to do is hold down the Shift key and click on both individually, and I can go through and change those so that they are identical to the last one. When you're done, remember to please go back to the classroom and you're going to hit the Turn In button, and you should have something that looks like this. Have fun creating!